A very special morning to you and welcome to Rapid Dawn right here on Rapid Television, channel 176 on Star Times. It is always a pleasure to be here this morning. We survived Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now it is Thursday. My name is Cynthia Agbo, and of course, I will not be doing this alone. Ugo, how are you?
Yes, I love the fact that you're talking about survival because that's exactly what has happened. And now we're at the brink of my favorite part of the week.
Which is?
Weekend. We're just at the brink.
What is the thing you love about weekends?
I look forward to weekends, but unfortunately, they last so short. They're so short. So short.
Are we talking about weekend?
Yes. Please, weekends.
Anyway.
Starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're thinking about anything else, my hands are clean. Anyways, you're welcome to the show. Ugochukwu Ademere is my name.
All right, so as usual, it's always important that we start the day with your health. And of course, we are still in Cancer Month. Do not forget that cancer is something that is eating so much, and the statistics are not so very friendly. So let's now move on straight to health. And this beautiful morning, we have something on cervical cancer. Stay with us.
Cervical cancer happens when cells in the cervix, the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina, start to become abnormal. Small changes in the cell DNA tells them to multiply out of control, and cells accumulate in growths called tumors. Thankfully, advances in medical technology, and specifically the use of Pap tests, have significantly helped us identify cervical cancer in patients earlier than ever before. What was once the most common cause of cancer death is now caught sooner and therefore more curable. While it isn't perfectly clear what sparks these cervical cells to change their DNA, it is certain that human papillomavirus, or HPV, plays a role. HPV is spread by skin-to-skin contact, often during sexual encounters. Over 85% of the general population has been exposed, but most people with HPV never develop cervical cancer. However, reducing your risk of one helps reduce your risk of the other. So I recommend getting both the HPV vaccine and regular screening tests. Other risk factors for cervical cancer include multiple sexual encounters, but it only takes one to contract HPV, so it's important to always practice safe sex. A weakened immune system, and also smoking are linked to higher risk. Once the cancer has progressed, it can show these symptoms: unusual vaginal bleeding, for example, after intercourse, or between periods, or after menopause. Watery, bloody vaginal discharge that may be heavy or have an odor. And pelvic pain or other pain can also occur during intercourse. Most guidelines suggest starting regular screening for cervical cancer at age 21. And during these screenings, a provider collects cells from the cervix to be tested in the lab. HPV DNA tests examine the cells specifically for HPV that can lead to precancer. A Pap test, or commonly called a Pap smear, tests the cells for abnormalities. The process of these tests are not painful, but can be mildly uncomfortable. If your provider suspects cervical cancer, they may start a more thorough examination of the cervix. This may include a colposcopy, which is a special tool that shines light through the vagina into the cervix to magnify the view for your provider. During the colposcopy, your provider might take several deeper samples of cells to examine. This could include a punch biopsy that collects tiny samples of cells, or an endocervical curettage that uses a narrow instrument to take an internal tissue sample. And if after further examination, the sample tissue is worrisome, your doctor may run more tests or collect other tissue samples from deeper layers of the cells. This could use a LEEP or cone biopsy procedure to give the clearest picture possible. Treating cervical cancer isn't one size fits all. Your doctor will consider the whole picture of your health and your personal preferences before making a recommendation. And this will include one or several treatment methods. For early cervical cancer, we typically treat with surgery to remove the abnormal growths. For more advanced cervical cancer, there's also chemotherapy, a drug that runs through the body, killing cancer cells in its path. Radiation therapy uses high-powered beams with energy focused on the cancer cells. There's also targeted drug therapy that blocks specific weaknesses present within the cancer cells. And immune therapy, a drug treatment that helps your immune system recognize cancer cells and attack them. No one can be prepared for a cancer diagnosis. However, there are ways we can help reduce anxiety and feel more in control of the situation. Learning about the condition can make you feel more empowered and confident in the decisions about your care. So ask lots of questions and request additional resources. Find support. Ask for help from your family and friends. If you feel more comfortable expressing yourself in a support group, there are many available both online and in person. Set goals that you can achieve and feel good about. And most importantly, take care of yourself. This time can be difficult and fatiguing. Eat well, relax, and get enough rest.
All right, welcome back. It's still Rapid Dawn, and I'm definitely sure that you have been enlightened by that. I'm talking about cancer. Let me ask you, Ugo, have you ever, have you ever been with someone, or do you know any person that, suffering from cancer, or you lost through cancer or something?
Well, unfortunately, I've not had anyone related to me, who was diagnosed or who died as a result of cancer. But I remember a certain person in my circle. Now, she was dealing with it, but she did not tell anybody. And I mean, you look at her, she appears quite healthy. She appears quite put together. She looked happy, but none of us could figure out that she was actually dealing with something as serious as cancer. So you asked me, how did we eventually find out? If you're one who believes in the supernatural, it was a testimony, when she eventually testified in church that, oh, this is how she got healed. And then lots of us were like, wow, you were dealing with this and you just kept it to yourself. And I mean, nobody basically knew. And this is to tell you that a battle against cancer it's not one to be taken lightly. Some people, when they're confronted with that kind of diagnosis, at the hospital, it's hard for them to assimilate. You have to take like some time to understand that I've got something in my body right now which could take my life at any moment. And I think it's a really humbling moment for the ones who have received the diagnosis, for the family members. I mean, it's for everyone who's connected to that person, is a humbling moment, because there's a lot of processes that you begin to analyze, a lot of things that you begin to get ready for. You have to start getting ready to be there emotionally for the person, physically, and then the millions of naira you're going to spend on chemotherapy and all the other. It's a lot. But like, to answer your question directly, I mean, there's no one who's been directly connected to me who has had that kind of challenge, except for the one that I mentioned.
Yeah, actually, cancer in whichever form, shape, size, how it comes, it's always it brings you back to that reality that, hey, we're on Earth and we probably have like a limited time to spend. I think a couple of weeks ago we had one of the big news anchor, one of the foreign stations. She, after her news that day, she took out about a few minutes of her time to talk about the fact that she has been battling with cancer, even though she was still coming to work. We were still watching her on the news, and then but hers was breast cancer. So she talked about it and talked about the fact that it is, when she was sharing this heartfelt message, I won't lie, it actually brought tears to my eyes, because it just, the statistics for women in terms of breast cancer is actually is not so friendly, because it just made me realize that as a black woman, there is a tendency that you might likely have breast cancer, right? So you just have to be able to always pay attention to these things, early detection, and just try to stay healthy, try to just be on a healthy path, basically. And then I actually did have a young friend of mine who lost his mom from cancer. I mean, it was strange, and it was very emotional for me. I couldn't, because this was a woman that I had interactions with her like weeks before, or about a month before. Then we met at the superstore, and then I didn't even know that she was battling something like that. She was always going to the hospital. She was always on her chemo. She was always on this or that. You know, she was talking about eating healthy, but I didn't know that the part of eating healthy, staying healthy, always checking yourself, she was speaking from a deeper place. You know, it was few weeks after I didn't see this young man again, and I was like, what's been happening to this young man? And I asked, and they were like, oh, he's been on an emotional side down. I'm like, what happened? So he lost his mom. And then that was when I had to reach out to him, like, your mom, do I know your mom? And then he described, after he finished describing the woman, I was like, wait, I met this very woman. We had, like, the truth is, we had like a long conversation at the store that evening. If I'm not, it was like about an hour conversation. She was talking about how, as a woman, you have to eat healthy, you have to take care of yourself, you have to do this, you have to do that. But she never at any point speak directly about herself. We even talked about cancer. We even talked about fibroid. We talked about different things. But she never at any point say she as a person. So when I got the news of her passing, I was deeply hurt.
You know, it's
deeply hurt.
It's something that creeps in on you, no matter your age, no matter your gender, no matter your social status. It's not like what they say. This one is a disease for rich men. No, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. It cuts across all races. And I think that is why the theme for this year's World Cancer Day is very profound. Because, I mean, the advocacy is on early detection. The advocacy is on you taking prevention very seriously. Because once you're diagnosed with it, it's just a very thin line between you and the other side. That's why a lot of advocacy around early detection, you know, when you go to the doctor, when you experience any kind of discomfort, always ensure that you go to the hospital, get, you know, tested, and of course, making sure you're in tune with healthy living, your dieting, your hygiene, all of these they are important. Now, is that a cure to cancer? No, but it's going to help you. If it's something that's in your system already, it's going to help increase the chances of your survival. And then if you employ that system of eating healthy and, you know, focusing on how well you're taking care of yourself, I mean, you stand a more greater chance of not being diagnosed with something like that.
Absolutely. Anyway, let's now move on to something more uplifting, which is the weather this beautiful morning.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Theo Bliss.
My name is Akava, go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it meltdown.
Leave it like that.
And welcome back. That's an outlook of how the weather is looking today to help you prepare better for what's ahead and inform your fashion choices as well. Cynthia, by the way, you look amazing.
Thank you. Of course, looking good is good business. At this point, we'd have to definitely move to fashion because how you look is interesting. Let's get to see what we have on fashion.
up when she never rests. Wanna stay unimpressed, or just as unimpressed. Broken whispers put his nest. Call up when she never rests.
And you are welcome back. It's still Rapid Dawn on Rapid TV. Remember to catch up with everything that we're talking about, all of the big discussions that we're having on all our social media handles. We're on X, we're on IG, Facebook, and YouTube as well. Ugochukwu Madumere here, as well as the very delectable Cynthia Agbo on the morning show today. And it's time for us to look at some of the big stories that are trending on social media. Cynthia.
All right, so the first one definitely has to be the economic situation in the country, which is no news because, I mean, every single day you wake up and you step out, you are faced with the economic harsh realities, and it is one that you cannot absolutely avoid. So the story is that a man actually went to the market and he started crying and complaining because of the price of things, the price of goods in the market. So it's almost like something you bought 2 naira today, you come back tomorrow and there's something on top of it. It's really, really terrible. And we really don't know how long this is going to be because we've been talking about this. It's almost like every single day there's something about the harsh economic realities in the news. So, I mean, it's always there happening. This conversation is always on social media, so you cannot just you can't just avoid it. So I think that I think we're gradually getting to a point where we're going to get tired of even talking because it's more like a repetition.
Are we ever going to get tired? Because that's the thing about Nigerians, you know. Time and time again, we've had to deal with policies that are obviously unpleasant, obviously unfavorable to the populace. And is anything done about it? You know, we just have to enter into that survival mode where we have to keep tolerating and getting used to the situation, no matter how worse it keeps getting, and then until it becomes the norm. I mean, we've seen that not only with this administration, even in previous administrations where, or maybe there's a policy that's announced, there's an increment in electricity or in fuel, you know, the best we can do, go on social media, type some words, rant, blah, 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 blah. You know, there's no decisive action, you know, being taken. But then again, you ask, what can, you know, the Nigerian citizens do? What exactly can they do to get the government to sit up, to get them to wake up, to get them to move beyond the level where they're telling us, oh, we understand that you guys are suffering, we sympathize with you, and we're working on it. That's what we keep hearing. How can we get them to that point where, you know, proactive measures are taken? How can we get to them to that point where, you know, we can see action, we can see something being done to address the current challenges? Because just a couple of days ago, we had that conversation. There was a protest in Niger State. Recently, the Kano State governor was telling us that he is going to inform the president of the suffering of Nigerians. And at the back of my mind, I'm like, hello, does the president not know what is going on in his own nation? Does he need the information of a governor to get the hands of, you know, what exactly is the situation at the moment? So, I mean, these are some of the indicators that you look at and you say, are these people really serious about addressing, you know, the challenges that the populace are facing at the moment? It's one, sadly, we are at an all-time low, and if something urgent is not done, I don't know how.
I think that with time we'll get it all sorted out. It's just a matter of time. I'm definitely one of those people that are optimistic that the government is going to figure it out, because if it's in terms of the people, I don't see. Yes, we've been having pockets of, you know, protests. Niger, Kogi also had a protest pertaining to the cost of living and the rest. I really do not know how many places are going to have this situation. Now, there was a protest in Port Harcourt, but it's almost like while we are complaining about the hardship, the economic realities, some persons are more concerned about other things. You know, they are more concerned about the pleasure that they don't get in the bedroom due to the heat. So so it's almost like there are difference in priority. And then I think that I have noticed over the years that Nigerians, we have a problem. We have short-term memory. We tend to forget certain things that happened. We are easy to move on, and then it's almost like, what's the next big story? What's the next big thing happening? So for today, for example, we are having, let's say we are having a fight happening somewhere, and then in barely 24 or 48 hours, there's something else, big story on the, happening. So yes, and then don't forget, this very weekend, you're going to go to a party, and then you're going to see someone spraying dollars, spraying naira, spraying mint, doing odogu, agbabola. So when all of these videos are out there, it's almost going to look like, well, these people are still finding time to enjoy themselves. So, well, the realities are there, but I think we are not, as a people, we are not there yet where we will say, okay, we want to come out together to protest.
Well, I think the truth of the matter is
we're not
that
there yet.
in our own little corners, in our houses, where you notice when you're in a public transport, for instance, everyone, that's the truth of it, everyone is protesting. But I mean,
as a group,
individually and then as a group. But are we directing our agitation, the things that we're complaining about, is it being taken note of by the rights authorities? Is our voice given the right amplification? Are the people who are supposed to hear the things that we're taught, are they hearing about it?
I can tell you
How
for a
can
fact,
we
Ugo,
get them to, pay attention?
I can tell you for a fact, Ugo, that the president is very much aware, okay? He's very much aware of the plight of the people. The president is very much, every day the president is being briefed of the situation in the country, be it the security situation, be it the economic situation, be it the health situation. The president is always briefed every day, all right, about what is going on in the country, which is what he's supposed to get. He's supposed to be briefed every day. And I can tell you that he's getting briefed every day, whether he's in the country or he's not in the country. So if we are not seeing the actions, if we are not seeing situations changing as we want it to be, it's not because they are not aware. It's a matter of maybe let's watch events unfold, basically. But as a people, we're not there yet to say we want to come out in mass and then protest or shake the atmosphere. We're not there yet, and that's just the truth. Let's move on to another big story that came up yesterday. Yes, there was a video where Mohbad, that is the late singer or rapper rather, Mohbad, his mom, was heard saying in Yoruba, which if you translate it to English, saying that the father of Mohbad isn't the father. So the man that everyone knows as Mohbad's father, who has been, championing the whole, let's have a DNA, let's have for the baby of Wumi, that is Mohbad's wife, the man who has been saying, oh, my son this, my son that happened. She is saying that the man is not the father, and she's challenging him.
Not the biological father.
Not the biological father of Mohbad. And it didn't stop there. She's challenging that he should come forward for a DNA test for the other children. Because for her to say that means she is very, very sure of herself. Now, my question now is, why is she coming out now to speak? At different levels, I discover, or we see, that the case of the death of Mohbad has gotten complicated over time. If it's not from social media commentators, setting up their ring light to say something about the case, we have several of them, social media commentators who were not even in the family of Mohbad. Everyone wants to have a say regarding Wumi, which is his wife, or Mohbad. Everybody wants to feel like they were there when these things were happening. But just like me and you, we are outside. We're not in the family. So, and I feel like the actions have watered down the entire investigation process of, I do not know about you, Ugo, but I do not see how justice is going to be gotten for the death of Mohbad. Now, this particular revelation has just further twisted the entire investigation. What do you think?
This revelation right now, I'm wondering, how is it relevant to the cause of finding justice for Mohbad? Towards the tail end of last year, it came like a shock to a lot of Nigerians, the fact that someone so talented, so gifted, who was basically a rising star, as it were, that his light will be snuffed out just like that. And then what is even more shocking is the trail of events that followed, his death. The issues surrounding who killed him, how did he die, who was responsible,
who took him to the hospital, all of the many questions.
Yes, and then even after that, we now started hearing issues about DNA testing, and it's been a roller coaster of distractions, if I must say, for the security agencies who have been tasked with the responsibility of getting to the root of the matter. And as at now, I don't think there's been any finality, especially from the security agencies, to tell us this is exactly what happened on the day that this young man died. These are the people that we are investigating, because a lot of names have been thrown into the case.
Yes.
So it's almost like every day, there's a new revelation. Now, let's focus on the latest revelation by this woman who claims to be Mohbad's mother, claiming that the man who we have known all along is Mohbad's father is not
his biological
father. And then she is clamoring for a DNA test for the other siblings of Mohbad.
Now she's saying, because she says if he doubts it, he should come forward for a DNA test.
So we need to ask some questions. How did this man come into the picture? Were you guys married at some point? Was there a divorce? Was there a separation? Or was it a case of, you guys were married, but you went out of marriage to do something with someone else? If that is the case, that does not give you a lot of, what's the word now? Moral standing, to come out to make such kind of claims. What you're saying may or may not be true. And I think this is yet another distraction in the case of Mohbad.
If you remember, first of all, let's get to listen to let's get to watch the video where she said this in a telephone conversation.
Ṣé justice of Mohbad lẹ wá àbí ẹ fẹ́ kówó jẹ? Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń dààmú ọmọ Nàìjíríà ń bá wọn ríbo rẹ́bàràbà. Ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ ti gbà pé mi náà bímọ sí yín. Sí ní ọ̀nà tó tọ́, ìwọ náà bímọ ọkùnrin, ó dẹ̀ bímọ obìnrin. Nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ fojú ọmọ mi rí ojú yín máa rí. Ọmọ tẹ́ni kọ́ máa sìn yẹn. Ẹ̀yin olè yìí. Ṣé justice of Mohbad lẹ wá kiri láti ọjọ́ yìí? Wọ́n fún yín ní 3 days tábà lọ ṣe DNA. Wàá mọ̀ pé Mohbad yẹn kì í ṣòun ló bí Mohbad. Ṣọ́n pé ìyàwó níyàwó ni mí. Òun náà àwọn ọmọ yẹn òun kọ́ ló bí wọn. Ó kàn ń gba owó lórí àwọn ọmọ mi. Ó ń gba owó lórí wọn. Ẹ wá sọ pé ìwọ sí justice of Mohbad. Ẹni títí ẹ máa ṣèrànìrà ìwọ àti ẹ̀. Ṣé bí wọn lọ ń tì í? Ó jẹ́ kó mọ̀ kọ́ tó yẹ kó ṣe lórí àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ gbogbo yín tẹ̀ ń fi jòsí. Mo mọ̀ pé ní agbára Ọlọ́run tó bá ṣe pé ọyàn mi méjèèjì mo fi àwọn ọmọ mi mu ẹ sì máa jọ ṣẹ̀sìn dẹ́yìn ni. Ẹ wá fi ọmọ yẹn pamọ́ síbi tó wà yẹn. Ó sì bọ̀ àkọ̀wọ́ náà o. Tá lọ bá lọ àbọ̀ ń bọ̀ o. Bó ṣe máa rí fún gbogbo yín nìyẹn ò lẹ́yẹ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe bàbá ẹ̀. Tó bá ṣe pé bàbá ẹ̀ ni kò ní máa ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn. Èmi ò ní ká má post ọ̀rọ̀ mi síta o. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ sọ fún gbogbo àgbáyé torí èmi náà ṣì ń bọ̀ wá jáde sí i. Torí pé ẹ fi ọmọ mi pamọ́ owó tẹ̀ ń gbà lórí ọmọ mi. Ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ gba dúkìá ẹ fẹ́ gbà nítorí ó bí ọmọ ó dẹ̀ níyàwó ẹ tún fẹ́ jogún ẹ̀. Ṣé justice of Mohbad náà lẹ̀ ń wá báyìí? Ṣé justice of Mohbad lẹ̀ ń wá àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ṣì máa dá sí i? Ṣé aláwọ̀ tẹ̀ ṣe lọ fún lówó yẹn? Tẹ̀jọ́ fún lówó tẹ̀jọ́ support ara yín yẹn ẹ ṣì jọ máa parun ni. Ṣé justice of Mohbad lẹ̀ ń wá báyìí? Ẹ sin ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ẹ fi ń gbowó. Àwọn Africa television ti jọ padà lẹ́yìn ara yẹn ẹ̀yin olè ẹ fẹ́ jogún ọmọ mi. ẹ fẹ́ jogún ẹ lọ ń sáyìn ẹ̀yin àwọn gba 75 ẹ̀yin gba 25 ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti sí mo mọ̀ pé ṣe máa jọ tira yín síbi tẹ́ ẹ jọ fẹ́ orí Mohbad ẹlẹ́dàá Mohbad ṣèjọ máa tì yín papọ̀ ìyàwó níyàwó ni mí o àwọn ọmọ yẹn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ni o jòsí kọ́ ló bí wọn o ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ni wọn o bí ẹ ṣe máa rí fún ayé gbogbo yín òun lẹ ṣe yẹn. ìyá tí ẹ jáde síta ó ń ṣépè fún mi ìyá tí ọmọ mi rí ó ṣépè fáwọn ọmọ ẹ ó ṣépè fún yín ó ṣépè fáwọn ọmọ ó tún ṣépè fáwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ gbogbo ìgbésí ìyá yín ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn pátápátá bó ṣe máa rí fún yín nìyẹn o kò ṣèmi ni mo ní o èmi ò ní jẹ gbì mi ìdẹ̀ ní kú gbì justice of Mohbad lẹ wá yẹn ẹ fòkàn ọmọ yẹn ráre ẹ wá ń gba owó lórí ẹ ọmọ yẹn ti pé 5 months báyìí bó ṣe máa rí fún yín nìyẹn o lágbára ìwòwò tí mo fi bí ọmọ yẹn ó máa dá yín lẹ́jọ́ ọyàn mi méjèèjì táwọn ọmọ yẹn mu ó máa bí yín léèrè justice of Mohbad ó ti ní tó bá ṣe Mohbad kò ṣe Mohbad ló yẹ kúkú àdúrà ló yẹ kúkú ìwọ náà dẹ̀ support ẹ̀ ìpè kan ṣe é rí tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá dẹ́yìn lẹ́yìn ọmọ mi tẹ́ni kan máa sin tó bá ṣe pé Ọlọ́run kan ló fún mi ẹ máa jàre ṣòwò tó ẹ kọ́ lọ́run fún mi ní Mohbad tí mo lè bí kó lọ bí léèrè bí oṣù mélòó ni Mohbad wà nínú mi tó fi mọ̀ pé mo lóyún ẹ̀ ẹ fẹ́ kí n tú àṣírí yín síta ẹ má ṣe sìn àṣírí yín ti máa tú ibi tó mórúkọ àwọn ọmọ yẹn lọ máa pé gbogbo wọn síta ń sìn bí léèrè pé kí ló mú mi sọ pé tó ní kí n wá ṣe tí mi ò lọ ṣe wọn àti ìyá lọ́ládé ṣé nítorí pé mo tẹ̀ fi ilẹ̀ mú wò yìí mo tẹ̀lé bẹ́ẹ̀ máa yí padà ni torí pé wọn pé ìrònú pé wàdà ṣì wà fún ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ ìbúrò bí ẹni ìrònú pé wàdà tẹ́ máa yí padà ni òun á sì orí kí n mú báìbù síta kádùrà máa búra kó máa ṣépè ní nǹkan tẹ́ mọ̀gbà tọmọ yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ ṣé mọ̀gbà tí Mohbad ń jìyà ni ẹ fẹ́ jogún ẹ tó bímọ ẹ wá fẹ́ jogún ọmọ ẹ wá ń sọ́pọ̀tì olórí burúkú máa ṣàǹfààní àṣìṣe ọkọ.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava, go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out
Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid.
Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it meltdown.
Leave it like that.
All right, so from what you just watched, it's very, very clear that we don't know the motive, because I believe strongly in motive. So we don't know the motive as to why she's bringing this up now. But then a few days ago, we talked about paternity fraud. This is if this happens to be true, right? This is a clear case of paternity fraud, because in that video, she is saying that he is just trying to skim his way to get money off Nigerians, right? Now, if you recall last year when Mohbad, when the news of Mohbad's death came out, he was granting interviews, right? And specifically, I had a problem as to why he was granting interviews. He was very quick to grant interviews at that time. And then at the time, all blames was on Wunmi, his wife, saying that is Mohbad's wife, saying that, oh, she has been, why is she grieving that way? People were trying to dictate to her how to grieve. Now, this is everything was complicated. He was granting interviews. He was talking about how he doesn't have money. He was talking about how, and then people were suspecting him because as to the pace in which they conducted the burial. They buried Mohbad. Now people were suspecting him. Now as events continued to unfold, people started removing him from the suspicious list and putting it on Mohbad's wife and his mom. Now, one thing is established: before before Mohbad died, he reunited with his mother. Now, just a background, right? Mohbad's mother and father, they were actually married, but we were not in the marriage. So many things happened. It was alleged that they had a couple of issues as husband and wife. Mohbad's father was not as, financially capable as a woman would expect her husband to be. Things happened in the union, and then the woman left. Now, probably she left the kids with the man. Maybe she didn't have enough finances, because I remember in a conversation she had, you know, she talked about the fact that she didn't have the financial capacity, you know, to take the kids with her. It was later on she reunited with the kids. But by then, Mohbad's father was the one who was taking care of the kids. He had to do all sorts of things, all kinds of job, just to be able to cater for the children that this woman left. Now, I really, at this point, we are waiting to see how this goes. But from where I stand, I do believe that this is really going to water down the case. Now, why are you, two things I have to ask. Why are you bringing this case? Why are you bringing this revelation now? Who is prompting you to do this? Number two, don't you want justice for your son? Because if you do have justice at the back of your mind, there are certain things that you will leave for family parlor conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, focus on the main issue of finding justice for Mohbad. Like you said, the questions that needs to be asked are very obvious. A lot of people have been asking those questions. I just hope that the relevant agencies are also listening and taking note. But right now, at the moment, I mean, we can't sit here to analyze exactly how things are going to pan out.
Well, we're waiting for, of course,
so that do not be surprised when I wake up tomorrow morning with another revelation.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're waiting. We definitely would be, you know, be giving you all the juicy parts on WhatsApp, because there is no way it's going to be a big story on social media.
Just to mention that the young man has not actually been laid to rest.
Yes. Till now, he hasn't. And one of the reasons why is because of the father. The father said the DNA test must be conducted, the autopsy must be, you know, the result must be released. But now this comes to, this now tells us, okay, what is delaying the autopsy results? What? Well, we're still waiting for answers, and of course, we will be bringing you some of these juicy updates on Rapid Dawn when it's, I mean, as it reaches us, oof, we share it out. All right, so let's now move on to Prince Harry. We hear that Prince Harry jets off to, you know, to see King Charles III, as the news of a very sad news, I must say, cancer, which we are still in the cancer month. News came out of King Charles and the cancer, and Prince Harry jets off to see him. Do you think that this is, I mean, Prince Harry has not really had the best of time ever since he got married to Meghan. Do you think that, I mean, don't forget the point, he was stripped off of his royalty and the privileges, and I think they've been in California. He's been in
US,
California, yeah, with his wife and kids. Do you think this would somehow change the status?
You know, earlier on when we had the conversation on health about cancer, what I didn't mention, or I think I even mentioned it, that a news about something like that, it's something that changes the dynamics of things. Like you said, the relationship between Prince Harry, Meghan, and the royal family has been strained, you know, since Prince Harry announced that he was taking a walk. He wasn't interested in being royalty anymore. It's actually been a strained relationship, but it doesn't negate the fact that this is still family. True. Yeah. So I mean, it's no surprise that when King Charles, it was terrible news for the United Kingdom. He hears about his dad. He has to come in, but in another ironic story, we're hearing that he spent just 30 minutes and then he jetted off back to California. So him coming back, is raising hopes of, are we about to see some sort of reconciliation, some sort of reacceptance, or is this just a matter of, I have to do my duty as a son, because this is his father now on the sick bed. He has to do his duty. My father is on the sick bed. I have to be there to offer, emotional support or do whatever it is that I need to do as a son. This time around, not as Prince Harry.
What would you have him do?
I think he has done the right thing. I think he has done the right thing. He, for a couple of times now, there's been, of course, dating back to the coronation ceremony, and this time around, whenever he visits UK in recent times, he's always been alone. He hasn't come in company of his wife or Prince Archie and the other kid. So, I think that shows you that even though that he is away from the royal family, his heart somehow,
of course, family is family.
Exactly. So I think he has done the right thing. He hears about his father's deteriorating health, travels, stays with his father a while, but knowing very well the issues, the controversies surrounding him and the royal family, he knows that his time, or the amount of time to which is going to be granted open arms is not so much. So he gives them that benefit of the doubt, comes in, does his duty as a son, and then goes back to his family. I think that is what any proper man would do.
I think it's fair enough. 30 minutes is not a bad time, given the fact that you are not totally accepted. But I do believe that something tells me that he will be back again. He definitely will be back again, because,
of course,
yes, because when things like this happen, I feel like it's an opportunity for fences to be mended as well,
or for things to get worse.
I do not see how worse things can get.
I mean, it's happened time and time again with events like this. It affords an opportunity for family bonds to be strengthened or further loosened. And I mean, all hell is broke loose, but that is not what we pray for. We hope that this event, as will bring the royal family back together.
Well, we do hope so. We do hope so, and we keep our fingers crossed, and get to see. As the story unfolds, whatever happens, if he eventually pays another visit to his father, and if there's been sort of a very welcoming, maybe, just maybe, the next visit might just be with Meghan. You never can tell.
Just maybe. I mean, the last time he visited during the coronation, it was almost immediately after he left. He wasn't even invited to the royal balcony, to have that private audience. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, things people do for love. Love. I mean, don't forget we are in the month of love. February is the month of love. There are so many things that you can lose because of love.
Yeah.
There are so many things you can win and gain because of love. Talking about love.
And I wonder.
A man in India, this is another story now. A man in India actually dressed like a woman so to enable him write an exams for his girlfriend.
Wow.
And one would say love makes you crazy. But I would say, if the love is going to make me crazy...
E for what again? E for energy. And I'm wondering, Cynthia, And
he was caught, actually.
Well, if love was a crime, he doesn't mind
Not
paying,
in 2024.
he doesn't mind paying the price for it. And Cynthia, speaking of love, I wouldn't know how high the mountain might be or how deep the oceans might be, but I have a feeling, that you'd cross rivers, you'd climb mountains for the sake of love.
What mountain exactly?
It could be Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro, might be the Pacific Ocean.
From where I stand,
might be the Atlantic Ocean.
From where I stand, love and crazy, L and C are far from each other.
Oh, really?
Yes, from where I stand. So yes, he was caught, and it was a funny story. Okay, very very funny story. All right, so we would love to wrap up what's the big stories trending, right? Not on our national dailies, but on generally here, social media and the rest. Okay, so we also have a story of Hadi Sirika's brother, being called up by the EFCC. Don't forget that Hadi Sirika's brother, Hadi Sirika, rather, was former Minister of Aviation, and there seemed to be a bit of a corruption case, looming. So I think that, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's taking long enough, and I'm wondering why Hadi Sirika himself has not been brought in for questioning. Yes, his brother has been arrested, and well, because the amount of money that we're talking about, this is also a civil servant, by the way, just to mention.
Absolutely.
The amount of money that we're talking about runs into billions of dollars, approximately 8 billion naira at the last time, that I looked into the papers for that particular story. Well, I feel like beyond Hadi Sirika and his brother, there are yet more revelations as to what happened to those monies that, were embezzled. And I think these two need to be brought in for serious questioning, and then we need to follow up on the story.
We will definitely follow up. And the reports also have it that the account in which this money is where his brother is actually the only signatory to this account. So, well, I think there's no way for you to cover up. But we'll keep our fingers crossed. However the story unfolds, I do not expect the story to be like other corruption stories where before you know it, they keep having visits upon visits, and before you know it, we no longer hear anything. But, well, we just hope that something tangible will come out of this particular arrest, and maybe, just maybe, we might have a proper explanation, and those who are meant to pay the price will eventually get to pay the price. All right, so we cannot hand over to Umar here this morning without telling you some very funny and, well, I used the word crazy. Well, still talking about crazy this period. Crazy and weird at the same time. Now, two things I want to share with you this beautiful morning is, the first one is that there is actually a zoo where cockroaches are named after a beta X. So if you have a beta X or a toxic X, you visit this place and then you pick a cockroach and you name the cockroach. Let's say, for example, Ugo was by beta X.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Maybe Ugo was by beta X.
I'll see what you're doing.
Hello.
Okay.
So Ugo was my beta X, and then I named the cockroach after Ugo, and then I give the cockroach to an animal to feed on.
Wow.
That is to say, you've taken your beta X out of your life.
That is wicked. But I mean, it would feel like, especially if you were treated really badly.
Yes.
If you had a terrible ex.
That's the idea.
And no ex of yours who treats you badly will go by the name of Ugochukwu. Nah, that can never happen. But I mean, I think that could work. That could work for therapy.
Well, I think that is extreme. Although there is a good side to it, because proceeds, now for you to go in there to pick a cockroach, you definitely have to pay something. So the proceeds from all of this goes into a project that this particular park is working on. So yeah, they use it they use the proceeds for something very, very good. But this is some place I like to visit. I do not have an ex. I do not have any ex. Talk more of a beta ex. So I don't know who I'm going to feed cockroach. I'm going to name the cockroach after, and who I'm going to be, giving to feed. But I actually wish I had one beta. No, I don't wish that. I don't wish that.
Careful what you wish for
I don't wish that anyway. All right, so moving on to something very weird and strange at the same time. And you might probably laugh a bit, as you can see on your screen. Now, this man went out, got too high on some liquid substance, alcohol, and his friends tried to reach him. but they couldn't. That's what the story says. His friends tried to reach him, but they couldn't. Only for them to inform a search party. And this man joined the search party in searching for himself. So it was later on in the search that he discovered that, hey, bro, who are they searching for? They're searching for me. And all the while, during the search, the people couldn't even recognize that this was the person they're searching for. It was.
So do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when sometimes, and by the way, I don't do the kind of things that man does.
Okay.
You know, you're holding your phone in your hand.
Yes.
You're on your torchlight.
And you're like, what's
and
my
you're
phone?
looking for your phone.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen sometimes. You're like, where's my phone? I kept my phone here. But the phone is right there. Like right there. So but this is extreme. Like they're searching for a full-grown human. And this human is joining in the search for himself. And then he's like, whoa, you're searching for me.
Crazy things happen when you're intoxicated.
Crazy things. I'm definitely sure that whatever it is that you do this period, you're not going to get to the point where you have to search for yourself. If there's any self-searching you should engage in, it should be on personal development and career growth, basically. Not because you are missing and then there have to be a search party. Just imagine, printing flyers for missing person, and then you are also among those who are stamping it on the wall. I mean, it's a high level of what is going on, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the much we can take. I wish I could share some more strange things with you this morning, but at this point, we have to run over to Umar here to get some more juicy and beautiful and exciting stories this beautiful morning. My name is Cynthia Agbo from Abuja. I'm telling you, have a beautiful day. Ugo, how are you?
Thank you so much for listening. Ugo Chukwumadum is my name. Adios.